Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. From the deepest jungles to the outmost reaches of space and beyond the veils of death itself, the Bald and Bonkers boys are back for another episode. It's no secret that you won't know what will happen next, but Dakota Franson and Chris Moore promise that all bets are off. Viewer discretion and straitjackets advised. These two idiots live up to the name. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. From the deepest jungles to the outmost reaches of space and beyond the veils of death itself, the Bald and Bonkers boys are back for another episode. It's no secret that you won't know what will happen next, but Dakota Franson and Chris Moore promise that all bets are off.
What the fuck? Hey!
What's going on?
What? What happened there? What did you do?
Oh, I'm not doing nothing. I'm sitting here eating candy and drinking Lucozade. What did you? Don't get my brother over in the chat. What did you do?
I don't know what the hell just happened with that.
Welcome into the room, everybody. Rev, welcome. Emerald Isles Paranormal, welcome. You know, who else we got in there?
It's like, hey, the world. It's like, I'm just gonna say this: the world clearly can only handle one of me.
Definitely.
Why is it trying to double me?
I noticed that when we were starting to go live there, it was in the code. It kept saying that you kept joining, and it was filling up.
I know.
You know,
I saw that too, and I'm just like, what?
Drew Mole is entering the room. What did you do?
And yes, Drew. Yes, Drew. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stephanie, welcome. Heather, welcome. You know, there's a lot of new people there. Oh, there's Shannon in there. Your mummy's in tonight.
Fucking figures. I tell her that everybody goes to say hi to her.
Everybody in the chat say hi to Dakota's mum.
And you're muted.
Everybody in the chat say hello to Dakota's mummy in the chat.
Oh God.
Welcome her. Welcome.
I was expecting some sort of issues, but not that, man. That just threw me off. Look,
there's some weird shit happening in the night. I think there's Drew started. There's some weird stuff happening tonight, right? It's just I've got this screen up, and I'm going to tell you right now, Emerald Isles, I can only see it on there, but I can see it on here. And she's on her Facebook account.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if that's just something on. I can't tell if that's just something on Streamlabs end or what, but
well, you know. So, Dakota, part 2 of the fires in Maui. What have you learned since last night? Because I've just been watching stuff non-stop. My God. The devastation.
And the thing that honestly bugs me when it comes to these types of topics is how easy just gets all twisted around, you know? And trying to figure out what the hell actually happened down there without actually, trying to fly down there.
Mm-hmm. Why is the icon for me moving about the top of the screen?
Because
is that you fiddling with something there? Double click.
Yeah, I was trying to fix crap.
You type fix it.
I think you're the one fucking touching it.
What did you do?
I really think your intro debacles are your claim to fame. Yeah, it's up there.
Well, I've had a migraine for 4 days straight now, and it'll just not go away. It's the aliens.
Wait, why do you have my name?
You know,
we gotta
the
fix
aliens
this.
Take me away. They're taking me away at night and did terrible things to me. You know, it's like a job I can't remember what they're actually doing to me. You know.
Yeah, I know. Just what the hell does this actually have to do with Maui? Well, as we were saying, there's a lot of insanity going on, and we don't know exactly what the fuck is
The cover-ups in Maui, I'll tell you something new. The cover-up, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't even pronounce that. The cover-ups in Maui right now, right? Fuck. See, that's why. See why she start. Honestly, I've had a really weird day today. I really so have. But anyway, never mind that. Honestly, don't you muting my. Don't mute my mic. Move that bloody.
I didn't mute your mic.
Bloody moose moved there. I watched him. He's terrible, by the way. He's terrible. Can't fucking take this guy anywhere. But anyway, he's like the child that you take to the shows, and he wants the candy, and he won't stop playing with the buttons. Yeah. But anyway, see, honestly, see, in a all serious note, see the things that's happening out there right now. I mean, it's over 1,300 people missing.
Mm-hmm.
Where have all the kids disappeared to? I mean, we got into the subject last night, and what makes me wonder, a lot of people are saying, right, they've been burnt alive, they've been killed in the fires. Well, what if it's something more sinister? What if they've been taken into like child slavery?
There's actually a lot of information coming about that the lands affected were well-known trafficking ports. And that's why they were burnt, because people that are investigating this stuff, finally, all this attention, maybe we can even go as far as blaming Sound of Freedom. All of a sudden, that attention's stirring up. Now shit's catching on fire.
I'm very interested in why Oprah Winfrey painted the roof of her house blue.
And that's another thing.
Can you?
I know that there's a lot of people that are speculative about that. So why would that certain color not be affected? And I've actually been trying to research that all day, but when you really think about it, obviously certain colors cancel out certain forms of light. That's just how it works. If this was purposely tuned to where they were trying to protect something blue, maybe a wedding ceremony, I don't know, you would have to think it would be something similar to like laser removal technology for like tattoos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe something about the color blue. If you go through several ancient cultures, that's always had calming, even protective energies.
It's actually weird you should say that about the blue, right? I actually researched this, and it's today with the different colors, right? But here's an interesting thing. I wished Lisa was here tonight. I invited her on the night, but she had to go out for her dinner. She was going out for her dinner the night, but she'll watch this back because she would have been the perfect person for this. There's actually ancient Maui legends about an evil that would come to the island, right? And destroy the island like a fire in the sky. But there was an ancient blue in the oceans that would protect the oceans. Now it's actually a legend. You can actually look this up. It's a blue substance that would come out of the oceans and it would protect people. I think that's like time travel material. I think somebody's seen the future, right? And they've seen the blue and they've said this kind of stuff.
Yeah, Polynesian cultures are filled with those legends.
Rev says there, I saw the color had to do with the 666 frequency, which is interesting. I watched the thing last night with the guy, TikTok. It was maybe 15 minutes long, and he speeds it all up, and he buys an industrial laser. I mean, this thing's like very dangerous. You need like a license to have this. And he points it at the ground, and he's made like a rig, and he puts the exact color of blue sheet of plastic underneath this, leaves it for 5 minutes. Nothing happens. He takes it away, and underneath the bit of blue is just like a bit of like wooden material, and it instantly catches fire. Instantly. And he tries it with all the different colors. He tries it with like red and blue, with different colors of blue, and they all catch fire. But it's that color of blue, there's something in it that stops that from happening. It must be to do with reflecting the light somehow.
There are several materials out there that are well known to be amazing insulators, and we're looking into several of the applications. What was it? There's this one substance that NASA was looking into to use as insulation for like rocket missions. It's like 99.9% air. It is that light. It
Yeah,
is
I know the stuff you're talking about.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not necessarily out of the question. And when they found that they applied this stuff with major amounts of heat, it did nothing.
Yeah.
And anything on the other side of it was protected. So, and it is about that shade of blue. Now I think.
Oh, you bloody changed my name again.
God damn it, Drew!
Yeah, I was wondering there because I read in the change my bloody name back there. I can't bars. Bloody
well, for some reason they had you as the same name as me, so I went in to fix it, and Wanky came out.
Well, I will say this that did you see that other bit of news? I kind of we're talking about Hawaii tonight. Emerald Isles, Jenny in the chat, they're laughing away. I know he's terrible, but anyway, did you see that? That this is what I find ridiculous, right? How much does NASA spend a day?
Oh God. What? Just
It's about 80 million a day.
Roughly, yeah.
Right. Whereas where they say they can't go back to the moon, but India went back there on $75 million.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm going with this kind of stuff? It was actually Drew that said in the chat that remembered me. And it was, but you see where I'm going with this? There's something weird going on in this world. I honestly think, oh my God, that thing with the Indian thing, that was a lot of people in TikToks. See, did you see it? Did you see the illustration at landing in the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm going to say this right now, guys. That was a computer simulation of what the thing looked like, the rover looked like. That wasn't actually the space capsule, right? That was a computer simulation at landing. Everybody in TikTok think that was actually the capsule. No, that was a computer simulation, right?
You got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, anybody who has a decent enough computer can create those videos these days. It does not take much. It just takes a little bit of brains, which most people on social media just don't seem to have.
It's what my brother Drew says. Here in Scotland, it's cost $350 million for one car ferry, to go like maybe 15 miles across the sea to build one ferry. And the Indians have went to the moon in $75 million.
Well, yeah, that's all the money they're making off of computer scams.
It's one small step for mankind and new location for the corner shop.
Thank you for coming to the Quickie Mart.
Oh, very good. Very, very good.
Good goddamn bastards. Not all of us sound like that.
Oh, God. Jesus. Honestly,
we're getting canceled. Thanks for the publicity.
Thank you very much. But I know... Jenny in the chat. Oh my God!
Here, Jenny, honestly, you want to come join the madhouse?
This has got something to do. This has actually got something to do. This has actually got something to do with the Maya. You may add, but how am I going to bring this in here?
All right, come on.
Would you say it was satellites that did that? Would you say that was like advanced satellites, or would you say it was aircraft with lasers attached to it?
It could easily be high altitude drones as well as lasers, but in the interest of putting all the cards out, people have to realize sometimes, I'm just pointing this out, there are certain instances where fires can hop. Basically, embers, they fly off of one fire, go off into the area. That would cause what looks like multiple points of origins. This is just full cards on the table. But you also have to admit the videos that are actually been proven to have been coming from Lahaina instead of just the random ones that kind of look like the area. Which, speaking of which, I could think there was an experiment you and I can do between Idaho and Scotland to prove how easy it is to trick people. There is something weird going on in that sky.
I've been watching a lot of. There's been a lot of top people that have went off of quiet all of a sudden over this, and some of them have disappeared. There was one guy who was a metallurgist, whatever that is. It's like a metallurgist that he knows the melting points in metal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says this is really interesting. He says he brought up the first video, and he showed you a normal car on fire, right? After that, all the plastic is melted, all the engine's melted, stuff like that. The engine block is still there, the alloy wheels are still there, and the aluminium on the car is still there. That's aluminum for you Americans. So I'll just keep it aluminum, right? Now, in Maui, some of the cars were actually melted in half as something sliced straight through them.
That is
That
the
should
part
not
that's
be.
suspicious.
That is there was a Ford F-150, there was a Dodge, I can't remember, Ram, I think it was, and there was two other cars. I don't know what they were because they were unrecognizable, and even the engine block was melted. That does not happen. Yes, the car will burn out, and there should be the engine block, the gearbox, the main frame. Aluminium melts at certain points. That should not have happened. The thing was melted. See, for that to happen, the guy says even a house on fire next to it, it would be extreme heats. It would be extreme. It's hotter than the surface of the sun. Must have hot that for a very short time. Because it actually, do you know how bad this was, guys? It melted, right? And 100 yards down the road, 100 yards down the road, you can actually follow the molten, it's set now, it's went cold, the molten aluminum down the road, and it actually went down a drain. That's how liquid it was. Come on. Come on. Right, I'm saying this, yes, some of it might have been maybe power line failure, right? With maybe the fires. Or what I'm saying, but look, there's so many strange things. Did you see the aerial photos of the houses with the blue umbrellas next to the swimming pool?
Yeah.
They weren't melted whatsoever. They weren't melted whatsoever.
Best.
Yeah, and some of the pools were drained. That's how hot it was. The actually flash boiled, right? If something passed over the top of it. And there was actually a guy, the scientist actually talked about this. He says, come on. He says, you can see some green foliage and stuff around about that's not been touched. Yes, there has been power failures with lines falling. Maybe that's because of the fires that have maybe spread after this. But come on, for a car to melt and turn into molten liquid and roll down the road for 100 yards and then go down a drain, that's impossible unless it's basically hotter than the surface of the sun. Hey, Christine.
Yeah, to take into consideration the way these lasers work, they would have to focus it. It's essentially the same logic behind pointing ants in a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Being able to focus it at such an intensity at one point, it causes this. Like I said before, yes, some of this could very well be issues with the power company down there that has been known to cause fires in the past. But the very damages that happens, that is basically the fires would have had to have hit something else going on in order to make as much damage. I mean, fucking concrete was vaporized.
Yeah.
You realize how hot a blast has to be in order to do that?
Yep.
Anybody who would get hit by that blast, you would not find remains. You may find pink sludge.
It's like one of the firefighters. There was a firefighter expert. He's actually an expert in arson. He can tell if a forest fire was started by a match. That's how good this guy is. And he actually says in a lot of fires like this in streets and stuff with disasters and things, the swimming pools are usually black and covered in like a fine layer of ash, right? And they've got water in them. Some of the pools were flash boiled. You can actually tell the plastic coating. It was flash boiled. If something come down and went zip within it happened. One of the pools was actually flash boiled in the space of 5 seconds. Not even 5 seconds. Yeah. So you imagine if someone was in those pools.
Again, you would not find remains.
You wouldn't find remains.
I would hear stories from soldiers in Iraq. This was actually one my father told me about an IED that went off.
Mm-hmm.
They went to go investigate the blast. All of a sudden, the only thing they could find inside the blast was this pink layer, like mist, like shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What the hell is this?" Like, that's some dude.
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
whoever was in that car bomb.
What's that chemical you get and it burns through steel? The Germans used to drop it in World War II. What's it called, guys, in the chat? They used to what's it called? It's a chemical you can actually, it's like a powder and you put it on top of steel and you set it in fire and it'll actually melt right through the steel. They use it in weapons and tanks to take tanks out.
Yeah.
Or what's it called again?
They spray the shit in well-known in a war
Thermite.
zone.
Thank you very much, Emerald Eye.
That's right.
Thermite. Do you know that thermite wouldn't even do that to the car?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever hurt that car was like 1,000 times warmer than thermite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking there with a mad stare, but can you imagine that intensity?
You wouldn't feel it.
It'd be that bit.
For how fast that
I'll tell you what it would be
that
like.
blast would go.
I'll tell you what it
You
would be
wouldn't
like.
ma- you
It'd be like
you
the ray
wouldn't-
gun. It would be like the ray gun out of War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. Is that vaporizing folk? That's how bad. That's how quick it would
No,
be.
as far as you would actually feel it,
Do you think
you would
so?
only feel cold.
Yeah.
There's only a certain temperature that the human nerves can actually handle before just being completely overwhelmed and shutting down. If you ever seen the movie The Punisher with Thomas Jane, and he's got a guy hanging upside down, and he's poking him with a popsicle stick while he's got a blowtorch in the other hand, cooking a steak. He's trying to simulate that feeling.
No. There's Emerald Isle says, Jenny says hydrochloric acid is another one.
But it would have to be carefully coated, though, without causing suspicion.
It's not just that, it's fires all around about the world. They're breaking out everywhere they know.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally, I think I know what this is. I think it's all in this climate change crisis. They want to lock you down. They want to lock you down. They want their 15-minute cities. They want Maui so they can build their smart cities. This is what it is.
In Maui, that's definitely the case. The conference was supposed to take place in order to start integrating it. And this is no conspiracy when we say that BlackRock and Vanguard has started trying to buy out the land that was destroyed.
And I'm going to say this to your president and whoever's in charge of the White House, with it certainly not him, is gave every citizen $700 in Maui, right? And what's that work out about $3 million, $3 million or something like that? Whereas they gave Ukraine the other day $40 billion. Do you know what I mean? They don't
a one-time payment
of
$700 to rebuild your life after it was destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. Good God, man. You can't even... An Xbox now is about $500. Good God. Some TVs are about $2,000-$3,000.
You're barely lucky to get a decent used car at that price.
Yeah. Well, it's so sad. And I'm kind of pissed off as and there's only a certain few people talking about this. Everybody else is all quiet. No one to talk about it. In case their reputation's ruined.
Yet they will be more than happy to engage in rather sexual, race, bigoted remarks, completely targeting innocent individuals that don't fall into their framework.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just goes to show the priorities of society these days.
But society is at a point where it's actually said to Jenny the day, actually, we were having a conversation that me, you, Jenny, other people in the chat there, that we are probably the last of this generation. What I mean is, it is going to be that film where people become stupid.
We're gonna have to do that's another full-on episode.
Because the way the world's gone, I mean, the way society with the what do you call it? If you don't identify as this, you don't identify as that. You can identify as a fucking can it look as if you want, which I think's stupid. And it's honestly, I just don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to say this: I do think the Earth's got to go through some cycles soon. I think whatever happened in Maui, that island, and I know a lot of spiritual people, it's not happy. Nature's not happy with what's happened here, right? I know something's going to happen there. There's some really bad shit going to come to this planet. There's some disasters about to happen that's got to be biblical. I'm telling you, this is going to get worse. This is going to get worse. All this climate bullshit is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. I've got my Amazon Alexa device over there, right? And you've got one too. Do you know it keeps giving me warnings saying red alert? There's a flood alert in place. Red alert. It rained once through the week.
Yeah,
and this is programming.
Over here too.
This is programming. It's like with lockdowns, right? It's like with lockdowns, where like the bug, right? That's programming. They wanted to see how many people would fall in, right? So when they do that again, they can how to make it more extreme. You see? And what's worrying me too is how the government and what was her name? Was it Pamela Harris? What's her name? What's in the White House? Is what's her name? What's for the US president? She actually said about we need to reduce the population.
Kamala Harris.
Right, that's what it was. Right. And she actually said we will be ongoing. The speeches there, guys. Just go and look it up. We need to reduce the population
by 2025.
By 2025. Now, let me put this straight to you. There's nearly 8.5 billion people on the earth. Round about that. I don't know the exact amount, right? A nuclear war would probably kill 4 billion, right? And you still be left with about 5 billion, something like that, right? What they're saying is they want to get the population down to 500 million. Can you imagine how devastating something like that would be?
You have to take into consideration human beings acting alone have notoriously not taken into consideration the full scope of effect that their actions may take. They may not even be able to physically comprehend that much level of detail. With these weather manipulation technologies, that will create an imbalance with nature that nature will try to correct.
Yeah.
That's what causes storms. Is nature trying to correct an imbalance?
I'm going to say this, right? Climate change is bullshit, right? It is bullshit. It's been proven to be bullshit, and everybody that proves it's bullshit either disappears or is fired, right? All these top scientists, right? It's been proven. In the 1960s, 1950s, and 1960s, it was nuclear war was going to kill everybody, and then in the 1980s and 1990s came around. It was climate change, right? Look, I don't say there's pollution. Pollution's bad, right? The plastic in the oceans, the plastic we're using is ridiculous. We shouldn't be using plastic. We should try and use more renewables. We need to stop cutting trees down. We need to go down that road. Aye, and we need to start trying to get more renewable sources for power and stuff like that, like fusion energy and stuff like that, right? But the humans are obviously not allowed to use that, you know. The technology's there, they're just not allowed to use it because it's stored away in some mad bunker somewhere. And you're not allowed to use it. It's like Dr. Stephen Greer says, the technology's there. The technology was there in the 1960s that could have freed this world. And it's all been stashed away so they can make money out of oil.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that debate these notions, but there's something else. I think we have to look at this more than just a climate change perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yes, there is an aspect of climate change that is real. The planet goes through cycles, and yes, the actions of a species that manipulates nature as much as mankind does, can actually push it into a different way. It's not much different than certain foods you like to eat causing cancer cells to develop later on. It's essentially the same logic. And eventually, as the body does try to figure out how to eliminate those cells naturally, and I find it funny that our signal's dropping again right as we're saying this.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just annotating for the people that are listening on the podcast side of this. They're going to see infections start raising. They're going to see something happen. And yes, there's other things going on that are trying to help, but the situation has spun so out of control. We are very much at a tipping point.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that on the way. War is happening.
That's quite interesting what Rev says there, Melissa says, about how we go through cycles. And it's true. The Earth has always went through cycles.
Exactly.
We've went through cycles. Look, again, as I said last night, Antarctica used to be a tropical climate, right? Parts say the world used to be deserts. Look at the Sahara Desert. At one point, that was a tropical climate. You know what I mean?
Throughout
the Earth's going to change. There's nothing the human race can do to stop the world change, right? It's going to change. It's going to change. You can maybe manipulate it, right? You can maybe manipulate it and bring in this and bring in that and cool the planet down if you really, really tried, which they're doing with chemtrailing and spraying and God knows what. But I'm going to say this. I'm not going to name what it was. Obviously, the lockdowns, the tinky thingy in people's, arms and stuff like that. That is going to kill people. That's going to kill millions of people. And it's already doing it. Yeah, I know.
Enough bodies have dropped to where they can start officially launching investigations. But considering
it's too late now. It's too late.
That somebody was about to move in.
Look at his internet dropping, guys. Look at that, guys. You see? No signal, but it's still there. You see what I mean, guys? This is what happens when you start talking about the truth in this world. This is what happens. There's no freedom of speech anywhere. Freedom of speech is totally out the window. Look at that pose that he's got, actually, guys. Somebody take a picture of that with your phone for me. There isn't any freedom of speech anymore. Everybody thinks you live in a free community, a free government and stuff like that. There is no freedom of speech anymore. Just look what's happening tonight. There's no freedom of speech. Look at Elena Dennen. Her channel's always getting hurt with stuff. Our friend Danny, her channel's always getting hurt with stuff.
Sweet Jesus.
Oh, yep. See what I mean, guys? See what I mean? What were you going to say before they took your transmission, did man?
Well, what was the last bit y'all heard?
I was going on about the jibby jabby, and then you went to say something, you disappeared.
All right. Pfizer, the biggest producer out of this, was being investigated, and several governments have already called them out and gone in for investigations. Yet when those raids started to happen, all of a sudden, mysterious fires took place. Please tell me that came across.
Well, was it Rev Melissa says? She says I'm more free in Scotland. No, it's gone the same way as the US, Scotland. I'm afraid they're bringing in more and more and more restrictions over here. They're slowly taking everybody's rights over here. Do you know that the government of the UK, which controls Scotland too, by the way, I have to tell you that because everybody thinks it's Scotland's, but it's no. I've actually trying to change the what's that thing to the human rights, so they can force vaccinations on you.
Yep.
That's happening here in Scotland and stuff.
Look what
You're
happened
lucky in
last time
America.
that was enforced.
I'll say this to now. America is more lucky than the UK than now. Scotland, Wales, and England. And I'll tell you why they're more lucky. Because yous have got freedom to bear arms, right? You've got the option of uprising and taking over your government. The Scottish people don't have that. The Scottish people are lucky if we're allowed a knife that size, right? So we're fucked that way, right? But then the Americans, yous have got the right to bear arms. So you've got that option. That's why there's in America, everybody wants to take your guns off you. Because see, the minute that you lose all your guns, you're screwed. That's it. Everything, game's over. Do not give up your weapons. And this is a warning. Do not give up your weapons. What's that? Did you say something there? You there, Dakota? Can Dakota hear me, guys? Dakota?
I'm here.
Oh, see. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I'm just saying, because for a second there, I lost all sound. Rev says, I actually had an emergency attack through my phone last week. It was sick. I really a shock. Emerald Isles Paranormal. I was thinking on Facebook, I was thinking of my friend about American president, Mexico. My Facebook went blue only. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Jenny.
Yep.
Heather James, I forgot you were not allowed to have firearms. We're not allowed to firearms. We're not allowed to. You're not allowed to have a penknife.
Yep.
If you have to have a good excuse to have a penknife, right? Look, there's laws getting passed in the UK they know that would shock you, right? In Scotland, they're actually. I heard this day actually, and I was like, for fuck's sake, they're wanting to build parks here, right? Normal parks, kind of parks where you go and sit and have your lunch and stuff, but you're only allowed to go into them if you're a transvestite.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
You know what I mean?
Kidding me?
Yeah. Nah, they're going on about it now.
Fuck's
I seen a debate about it. I seen a bit of debate about it where they want to build safe places for these people that dress, you know. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in it, but I'm saying, come on, guys. It's getting a bit ridiculous now.
Something that bothered me. There was this trans person who went on to try to defend these drag queens teaching kids about sex, young kids not even in the double digits about sex, and groping these children. And California recently basically taken down the offense for adults who decide to have sex with willing participating children, reducing the criminal charges for that. Their defense was, oh, so you're okay if a Catholic priest does it? No, but they're on your side. But those are the ones on your side. So you're only wanting to defend the drag queens wanting to rape children because they're on your side of the argument?
Look, this is getting brought in deliberately for two reasons. One is to try and dumb the population down to make them complete utter fucking idiots, right? Because let's face it, that's what's happening, right? It's happening. It's probably happening there, right? And two, it's trying to turn society. And why do you honestly? What is your opinion, Dakota? Why do you think they're doing this? Do you think they're trying to? Do you think they've got their own weird agenda?
I've been saying it on numerous occasions and tried to say it quite a few times. You have to take into consideration.
You changed my name back again, you bugger.
Yeah,
that's terrible, isn't it? That
I was waiting for how long people would
that's
realize
terrible.
it.
Honestly, guys, I'll get him. Don't worry, I'll get him back.
All right, change the name.
Don't
Partially, it's
change
because
it back to bloody.
What?
I'll do it myself. Fucking tell.
Fucking hell. Okay. Here we go. Okay, there's your name.
There you go.
Partially, it is because of distractions. But you also got to
Mhm.
consider this from a point of conquest. You're only to attack individuals. The best way is divide and conquer. Take out their communications so that they can't call in help. Make them divide amongst themselves. Take away. Oh, you dickhead. Yeah, at least I'm paying attention.
Wait, at least you're paying attention, but eventually, guys, somebody
It's
says to you,
divide and
that's a lot-
conquer.
Yeah.
It's divide and conquer, and you also take away their access to basic needs. Take away shelter, take away food, take away water, take away that access. People are going to focus.
Look, his internet's dropped again, guys. See what I mean? We've both got good receptions.
Yeah, my service
But that
actually just
doesn't
got
matter.
upgraded this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's divide and conquer. Depriving the very people you're trying to invade of their resources so they cannot fight back. They're not the ones that do, they're not going to be sure who to fight back. But the plans do fail.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're wanting to bring in their one world government. We know that. And you got to remember, guys, this was created hundreds of years ago. This was decided hundreds of years ago. This would happen. I just don't know anymore. The society is getting to the point where folk just don't give a fuck anymore. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that there's not been like
anything.
I'm amazed that the UK hasn't had a revolution or the US hasn't had a revolution the way things are going. I really am. But that's because the younger generation, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of the younger generation out there that are okay, that are intelligent, that are actually standing up for the same kind of stuff as we are.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in a minority. They're in a, for fuck's sake, in a minority, aren't they? I mean, that's that. I mean, look at where they're doing in schools, where some people are dressing up as cats and going to cat litter boxes in the corner of the room.
Yep.
I mean, what is wrong with this civilization? And if you question that, you're against that thing. Can't I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's what's next? Are we going to start burning all the books and all the libraries?
Oh wait. Already
Did
happening.
you know? Yeah, I know. I actually seen a clip on YouTube, and I can't remember where it was in the United States, but they've actually taken out all the books, and they've all been taken and destroyed, and they've all been replaced with woke ones.
Yeah.
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 That's why see if I see a bargain, a book for sale, an interesting book for sale, I'll buy it and just keep it. Because it's going to come to the point where these books and stuff like that are just going to disappear one day.
Can you imagine the number of books that we're putting out going to be in those burning piles?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad. It's like you're too young for this movie, but there was a movie made in the early 70s, and it was called Fahrenheit. And it was Fahrenheit something that I'm going to help us in the chat, guys, if you know what it's talking
Fahrenheit
about.
450 something.
It's a British made movie, and it was about a fire crew, but their job wasn't to change that bloody back again. It's terrible. I'm bloody watching them like a hawk.
See,
anyway,
ladies and
it's
gentlemen,
put me
this
off
is
there.
why you should come to the live shows.
See, we do this deliberate, guys. It's just a bit of fun between me and Dakota. But as I was saying, it was a fire engine, And it wasn't going to put fires out, it was going to burn books.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. It went to people's houses, and people would hide books in lofts and cupboards and stuff like that, and they would go through the house and smash the house up with their axe to find the books. They'd take them outside and burn them.
Yep.
Look at Nazi Germany, they used to burn. Look at Nazi Germany, they used to burn the books.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's coming to that. It's coming to the point where society is going to be only one-minded, and it's do what the state say. George Orwell, 1984, he predicted this, and it's all coming true. It's all coming true.
You know, there's a number of different things I've kind of been contemplating about this. There's also, to me, it also feels like the people behind this have either gotten lazy or are simply that confident in their plans to where they're not covering their tracks as well as they think they are. Snake, the head off the snake has been cut off, but it's still in the same light. So much of it is still in place that is all they know how to work with. I mean, you can even go into the gray agenda. I mean, you can think about it. Did you know that when a woman is pregnant, the baby will actually send stem cells, and it can actually physically rewrite the mother's DNA? So if we have hybrid kids being implanted in women of the regressive races, that means these women are technically part gray.
I'm amazed how long
They
it
have
took
the
you to
implant.
notice that. I'm amazed how you actually 3 minutes you managed to last without changing it. But here's actually something that I learned the other day. The psychic people in the room here will find this very interesting. Did you see that scientist article on birth today with children? It'll come on. Have you not seen this? The scientists have actually proved, right, when you become pregnant, the woman's egg and the sperm goes to the egg, and the fastest one's there, and then it turns into a baby, right? Do you know that they've actually found out that the egg puts out a frequency, and it only certainly attracts the certain sperm, right? And it picks which one it allows in. So that means you're chosen for a reason. You're chosen for a reason. There's a reason why you're here.
It's also been shown that at conception, there's a physical spark of light that takes
Yes, I've
place
seen
when the
that.
sperm gets in.
Do you think that's the soul?
Could very well be. There's not exactly a very ethical way of testing it now, is there?
Well, there's no. There isn't. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It's like some. It was at Lisa that said to the other day there that when she was on her show that the soul chooses, right. Say for instance that woman's been pregnant for like a day, right? So you've been reincarnated in that, but you're still in the afterlife, and when you're due to be born, like a week before you're due to be born, you go. That's who you go into the baby, and you're born. It's quite interesting. He froze again, ladies and gentlemen. He's froze again. The aliens have took him away. See you go, ladies and gentlemen. Something really weird is going on tonight. Oh, he's back again from beyond the veil. I think he's instead of getting.
Sweet Jesus, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I honestly think that your internet's been downgraded. You know? See what I mean, guys? You can't talk about things anymore. This is what happens. If I was on here saying President Biden was awesome and all that kind of stuff, I would probably be sitting with 2 million people in the chat and have loads of subscribers. It's madness. What's your opinion in the chat, guys? What's your opinion in the chat to what's happening in the world? waiting to Dakota getting delivered back.
Sweet Jesus.
I know. It's madness.
It is.
This is all the time. They just keep it like that. We've not had a portrait like that for a while. It's actually quite good.
Yeah.
But it's look, it's getting to the point. I don't know anymore. I really don't. I asked when you left, what's the chat's opinion and what's happening? You've been bloody change that bloody hang again, you bugger. You have to keep an eye on him. He's terrible, guys. He really is.
Yes, I'm
He
such a
really
naughty
is.
boy.
He's a terrible, terrible person. Get what I mean? Fuck. I can't fucking spell it now for some weird reason it's coming up. Stop changing it. You're making my screen go all wonky. Stop it! Stop with me, silly. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for a new co-host. I want to like strangle him. You know.
There we go. You're fixed.
Right.
There you go.
Right. I've been fixed, Stuffer.
You need to be.
What's that in the chat? The world that needs complete makeover. Yeah, you're right. The world does need a complete makeover. Everybody that's in charge of the now, we need to deal with them swiftly and severely. Remove them from office if need be, and vote somebody else. And but see, the voting is rigged now. It's rigged.
It is.
It's like see this. It's this new COVID cases that are coming out in America. It's you know what it really is, don't you? It's called election disease. It's so as they want a total lockdown again, so as they can send in their mad ballots to say, "Oh, aye, Joe Biden's great. Let's go have another 4 years at him."
Well, allegedly the favors may go for Robert Kennedy. So,
well, I don't care who it is as long as it's not that idiot. I mean, I don't know. There must be loads of clones of him walking about. There's loads of folk out there that look like him. He's got like doubles. He's probably dead for all we know.
it wouldn't take much to find a doppelganger.
What's that? We need a clean sweep, and we are all the brooms. Well, I don't know. With the pick, say 10,000 people, put them in a bunker, then that's what everybody's needing to happen. But look, it's going to come to the point where we need to change our ways. We need to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you talk about the extraterrestrials. I mean, they're getting a bit pissed off with all this. I ken that.
There's quite a few.
Oh, aye. They're getting extremely enraged and
they're getting frustrated with us because we're falling into the trap.
Yeah.
And even now, some of the parties that we can actually validate are legitimate when it comes to that discussion. People are so dedicated to try to prove something's wrong that they're basically trying to nitpick the smallest inconsistencies these days. It doesn't take a CIA agent. People are doing this on their own accord. The CIA may go in and redirect it to cause chaos. Yeah. And they've fully been caught doing it on numerous times. But the fact still remains the same. At the end of the day, we need to stop looking for excuses to try to be shits to one another. You know, playful teasing like Chris and I do, that's one thing. But just genuinely shitty to one another out of our own ego, out of our own trauma, that shit needs to stop.
Look what's happening in the UK, the TikTok trends where kids are attacking police officers and attacking them just because of TikTok trends.
Yep.
And of course, the UK, the police officers out here don't have guns. They have like a spray, like a baton or something like that. That's that.
Yeah. Stop! Or I'll say stop again.
Aye. That's the police officers here. I mean, society is breaking down. If nothing's done, I was saying 10 years from now, it'll be like a Mad Max scenario.
That's the thing. We need it to crumble.
we need the system to collapse so as we can rebuild it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But when will it happen? That's the thing. I mean, the people in power they're destroying everything. They're just destroying everything. They don't care. They're
If they
giving
can't
billions
have
and
it,
billions of dollars to fight a war that could have been stopped a while ago.
yeah.
Putin has tried 5 times now to bring this to an end. Right?
Mhm.
And the West has went no.
Yeah, I find it funny that people are trying to speculate about the claims of Russia finding baby factories, trafficking rings in Ukraine. Yet, 5 years ago, there were several Western articles talking about how ever since Ukraine became sovereign, it became a main hub for trafficking.
You could. I'm not sticking up for Putin here, right? Putin's a bad person, right? What he's done, and so is the West for what they've done. But see, you've got to remember that NATO promised Russia that Ukraine wouldn't enter NATO. They promised them because you think about it. Can you imagine if Canada, right? Like hypothetically, can you imagine Canada or Mexico? Like, say Mexico had nuclear weapons, right, and aimed them at the US right on your border. You'd be shitting yourself. You'd be shitting yourself. You would be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like for Russia. Russia, they're bad buggers, right? But so is the West. So are we for the things that we're doing. You have no idea what we're covering up over there right now. The things that we're covering up.
Here's the thing.
And it's terrible.
No matter how righteous you may feel entering the battle, the second war breaks out. Neither side is the winner.
Yeah.
Because eventually, you're going to have to sit down and reach a fucking compromise.
There's your mum says they're having internet issues.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, do you ken the estimates of the dead in Ukraine? What have been, because the mainstream media's no reporting on it. There's actually that General MacArthur. There's a colonel. He talks about this. He's an ex-colonel for the United States military. You see him on YouTube a lot. He was talking the other day, and he kens because he's got friends who work in the CIA and stuff, that Ukraine has actually lost over 400,000 troops.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the meat grinder, right? That's just ridiculous. We have lost internet. Your mum said you've lost internet. Isn't that interesting?
Figures.
So, Dakota, we've got 3 minutes left of the show. What's on the agenda next week? What's happening next week?
Oh, I guess we shall see what brings us. Weren't you trying to cheat on me with your girlfriend next weekend?
Yes. I think it's Saturday. I'm doing a show with Jenny, but we could pre-record through the week if you want. We could do something stupid through the week if you want. Kim, I've not had an open house. What I mean is, on a Sunday we could have an open house.
We're going to be bringing in an open panel tonight, but you wouldn't shut up.
Things had to be said. And if Dakota disappears, ladies and gentlemen, we will remember him. We will have a 2-minute silence for you. And I guarantee you on your plaque,
2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'm the one legally in charge of everything. If I go, Bald and Bonkers goes.
No, but here's the thing, too. But if I put a plaque for you up here, I'm going to deliberately spell your name wrong.
That doesn't surprise me, and I doubt it would actually be deliberate knowing the way you spell.
That's very true. But I'm going to name you. I'm going to take you for Dakota. I'm going to call you Dick, and then your last name.
I see.
Old Dickie boy.
I see.
You know.
I see.
He'll get me back for this. You did realize that, guys. He's going to get me back for just saying this kind of thing. But here's a
Well,
question.
there is one thing, but I was trying to be nice.
You be nice. But here's a question for you. Here's a question. What are you doing through the week? Are you doing any gaming videos? Are you doing any other videos? Are you doing your week monthly updates or anything like that? You usually do.
Let's see what the schedule allows.
So thank you everybody for coming tonight, and honestly, be safe out there. And I hope your mum and that gets an internet. I hope you get your internet back.
Yeah. Someone probably took out a line.
Yep.
Doesn't
It was
surprise
the,
me.
it was the Indian astronauts coming back.
Or some drunk kid running over a line. Happens all the time.
Yeah, that's very true. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic week, and we will see you very, very soon.
Bye.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you see Bald and Bonkers for even more insanity. Be sure to spread the love to the Bald and Bonkers boys' other endeavors. And a special thank you to our audience, guests, and everyone else who helps make this crazy ride happen. Amazing things are ahead. Learn more by visiting www.baldandbonkers.net. See you next time. Much love, and take care.